All right, we're getting ready to roll here as people are coming in. I'm going to share my screen. All right, we'll just give it 1 second and as people start to roll in, I can look at our numbers. We have quite a large number registered for today's webinar, upwards of 60. I don't anticipate 60 will join us, but I think we want to make sure that everyone who wants to get in gets in a timely manner. So, all right. So welcome to today's webinar. In our series, we're calling Simple Solutions for Everyday Problems, a webinar series to make your work easier. Today, we're going to be focusing on how to set up and use forms to reduce your workload. I've been using forms for a little while now. I find it pretty easy to use, and I am kind of excited because I have a funny feeling Ivan's going to teach me a few things that I didn't know before about this platform that we can use. So I'm going to, just in terms of some housekeeping stuff, just note that you are muted, the participants are muted, and however there is, I'm going to just make sure that the chat box is, I might not be able to do that right this minute. I will make sure that you can chat, and there's a Q&A box for sure. So you can certainly throw questions in there as Iman presents this morning or this afternoon. And he will make every effort to answer those questions at the end of his presentation. And if we run out of time, he will respond to you directly to make sure that your question gets answered. All right, we're going to start with prayer. And I'm going to pray the prayer for a mission-oriented church that has sort of become our adopted prayer for our diocese. So let us just begin in the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Send forth your Spirit, O Lord, and fill the hearts of your people with an ardent desire to follow Jesus, to be his missionary disciples. Fill us with joy and a desire to know your word. May we boldly proclaim the good news to others, for when we help others to know that God loves them, they will know true happiness. Fill us with a deep desire for the Eucharist. May we recognize Jesus in the proclamation of the scriptures and in the breaking of the bread. For when we are united with Jesus, joy is constantly born anew. Fill us with a true love of neighbor. May we seek opportunities for reconciliation and with big hearts serve those in need. For in serving them, we know we are serving your Son. With the help of the Holy Spirit, may we commit ourselves to loving you and doing your will. We make this prayer through Christ our Lord. Amen. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. All right, just before I pass this over to Iman, the next webinar in this series will take place on April 26th, again, the fourth Wednesday, from 1:30 to 3, and the topic will be shared calendars. And so the IT department has been working already with some of our families of parishes who have found the use of shared calendars for managing mass times at different parishes, room bookings, as well as staff and committee meetings. And so they're going to give us all the ins and outs of how to manage shared calendars and how they can benefit you. So registration is already up for that on the website, simple solution, dol.ca/simple-solutions. You will also be able to find the recording for this webinar, as well as the previous one and any other ones that are coming up from this series, again, at that same website, dol.ca simple-solutions. As long as YouTube does not take us down, we will be fine, which happened to the last one, but we fixed it. So I am very happy to turn it over today to Iman Shoshani, who is our Senior Systems Analyst for the Diocese, and he's going to walk us through all of the good things about Microsoft Forms. So Iman, they are all yours.
Thanks, Claire. Share my screen. Okay, so welcome everyone, and today we will learn a little on Microsoft Forms. At the end of the session, you will have enough information so you can make an informed decision on whether to use forms or any other tool, or you can do the comparison yourself. Today, we'll go through the forms. We will learn how to access them, how to create a new form, how to collect responses, and how you can take those responses at the end and do whatever you need to do with those responses. And if we have time, we will see how you can use forms in other Office 365 applications like Outlook, Teams, and Excel. So let me jump right into Microsoft Forms. I'm going to start with a screen that you are all familiar with. Microsoft Forms is just another application in the Office 365 suite. So, which means that there's no software you need to buy. There's no subscription. It is part of your account and it is available for you to use right away. To access Microsoft Forms or to access any other Office 365 application, you are all familiar with the app launcher, which is on the top left corner, the 9 square dots. You can use that in any Office 365 application. So from any application, that app launcher will be at that corner. You can use it to switch to any other application. So let me switch over to Forms. So I simply click on Forms. It'll open a new tab for you, and there is my forms. So on the top, I'm just going to go through the screen here before we jump into creating a form, etc. So on the top, you have a button to create a new form, and you will have some forms listed, your recent forms, or pinned or shared with me. Shared with me means that you can create a form and share the structure of the form with someone else so that they don't have to reinvent the wheel or recreate the form. When you share a form, you will share the structure of the form, not the data. So if you have a form and you have submissions, when you share that form, you will be able to share just the structure of the form. And the other person can update it and use the form you already created. So in this form, it will just show you your most recent forms, etc. If I scroll down a little bit, I can view all my forms. If I click on that, it'll take me to this screen. Then I see all my forms here. I can still create a new form, a new quiz, or I can do a quick import. The quick import is actually very helpful. So you can, if you have a form created in Microsoft Word or you have a PDF form, you can easily import that into a Microsoft form so that you don't have to retype the questions and all that. So it just imports it, you have a form ready. Now, these are my forms. As I move over each form, you will get the 3 dots or the ellipses for more options. If I click on that, then I can copy the form, I can open it, I can move it to another group, or I can delete that form. And if you delete forms, a form is just treated like a file, like any other Microsoft file, whether it's an Excel file or a Word document. So if you delete a form, it'll go into the recycle bin, and there you can retrieve any form or restore any form you delete. Let me go back to my forms here, and let's start with creating a form. Today, I'm going to create just a simple form so that you know how easy it is to create a form and adding questions. And of course, you can create very complicated forms. You can do branching. You can do, if you are doing surveys, you can do shuffling for educational purposes. Like this has been used by schools, so they can create quizzes and limit them by time, etc. So let's jump in and create a new form. So to create a form, there's a big button with a plus beside it to create a form. So I'm going to go ahead and click on create a form. And as soon as I do that, it opens a new tab for me with a new form. I will start with the title of the form. So I'm going to call it first form. And you can add some description to the form. Uh, and then once you have that, then you, before I jump into adding questions, let's talk about the styles. So here I have some styles for the form. I can use like a standard solid colors, or I can use some different like a live or images and so on. So you have all sorts of different styles and templates you can use to create your form. So here I am, I've selected a form. I like this design, let's say, or you can easily switch the form, whatever suits you. You can view all these different styles that you can use. And also you can add some background music over here. You can add some background music here. I can turn that on if you like. Whenever someone opens your form, there will be a background music playing. So you can do that too. All right, so let's jump in and let's start with just a simple form. So here I created my form. Uh, in the title, of course, you can use you can add an image if you need to add an image, or if you have a logo, you can add it, and so on. So let's start with adding some questions. So when it comes to adding questions, you have all these options here. It can be a choice, a multiple choice. It can be a text. It can be a rating, a date, or if you click on the drop down here, it can be a ranking, a Likert. You can upload a file. You can use a net promoter score, or you can divide your form into sections. So let's say you're doing a survey and you would like to organize it, categorize it by multiple sections. And when I say section, on the end, on the other side, when someone submits the form or the survey, they will have pages. So each section will be in a page, and then you click on next, you can go to the next page, and so on. So some of you have asked about the file upload. In Microsoft Forms, yes, you can upload files, but that is limited if the form is within the Diocese of London. So if the submitter using a diocesan email address, then we can allow them to upload a file. And the whole thing about it is for security purposes. Once you create a form and put it online, it is open worldwide. So anyone can go and upload a virus or upload a suspicious file and so on. So to prevent that, they only allow file upload within the organization. So let's start by creating just a simple form. We'll add some questions. Let's say I want to add the name. I will have the name here. I can make that required or not. And then I can add just another question here. Let's say I will ask about their email address. And I'm going to add another question here. Let's say I'm going to give them a couple of dates for an event. Let's say if, let's say, they're registering for a specific session or a specific event, I can give them a couple of options here. Let's say April 5th, so on so, and I'm going to have another one on May 2nd, let's say. So I can convert this to a multiple answer depending on your question. So you can just simply check that, and they can select multiple options there. And you can easily make that question a required question. I have that, and let's add another one. Let's say a date. So you can select a date, and as soon as they click on that date, uh, they'll get the calendar, and they can choose the date. Uh, so just I'm just going through different types of questions, uh, and of course at the end you can make this all related and so on. So I'm just a simple form with just the basic types of questions. And you can add, I'm going to add another one. Let's say I'm going to tell it if they have any notes, and I can make this as a long answer so that I will give them some more space to type any notes they would like to add. So here I am. I've created my form. I gave it a title. I've added different types of questions. And I pretty much have my form. Let's say my form is ready. Before I send this form out, I need to decide on the audience to whom I'm sending this form. So let's see what settings available for me in this form. So on the top here, you see the preview, the style, collect responses. We'll go through all that, and I'm going to the settings here. So if I click on that and go into my settings, here I will decide to whom I'm sending out this form. Whether my form is available for everyone, so anyone can respond, means whoever has the link, they can submit the form. Or you can say only people within my organization, which means they have to have a diocesan email address and they're signed in already. And then you can record their name, or you can limit for one response per person. Or you can have it specific to people within my organization. Then you can send it to by an email. If you have a distribution list, you can send it to those people only, and so on. So here you'll decide who will be able to respond or use this form. Once you decide on that, then we'll go through these options. So you can right away start accepting responses, or you can set a starting date and ending date. So that means you can only accept responses within that date range. You can do that. Also, you can set time duration. I know this doesn't apply to surveys or registration forms, but that setting is used in the educational purposes at schools. And if a teacher puts out a quiz and wants to put a 15-minute limit on that quiz, they can do that. They can limit the time, and once the time is over, the form will be automatically submitted. If you're doing a survey and you would like to shuffle the questions, you can do that. You can show a progress bar. Of course, a progress bar will be available only if you have multiple sections or multiple pages. Then it'll show you where you are in submitting the form. Also, once you submit the form, by default, you will get a link, or whoever submits the form, they'll get a link to submit another response. So if someone doing registration, that's very helpful, because you want them to do multiple registrations in case they need to do multiple registrations at a time. But if you don't want that to happen, you can hide that link so they can just submit it once and they're done with it. Also, you can customize your thank you message. So here by default, it'll say your response was submitted, or you can just simply thank you for your response, and you can customize the message the way you want to be. At the end, you can allow receipt of response after submission, meaning once the person submits your form, they will be notified with an email. Of course, if you ask them their email address, they'll be notified or as a confirmation that the form has been submitted. At the bottom here, you have an option to get a notification for each response. So as a creator of the form, you can decide to receive a notification every time someone submits the form, or you can turn that off because at the end you can collect all responses at once. So these are the settings, or simple settings, easy to get to use. There's no complication here. You set that and you were ready. We decided that this form is going to go out to all the people within my organization, and I am not going to record their name just to keep it anonymous, let's say. So once I've decided I've completed the form, I decided who will receive the form or who can submit the form. Now I can decide, see if we're going to look at how to make this form multilingual. So that was one of the questions people asked, if other tools provide multilingual for the form. Let's see here, adding another language to the form and see how we can make that happen. So same thing, I'm going to go to those three dots on the top right here. I'm going to select multilingual, and then here I will add a language. So if I click on that, then as you can add any of these available languages for you. So let's say I'm going to add French, for example. Okay, so I've added the language. Now, what's left for me is that I need to update my form with the corresponding French translation of the form. So right here next to the French Canada, I have an edit language. So when I click on that, it will give me the form in English and give me an option to add my French to it. So let's say, excuse my French, I just did a Google Translate for it. So for example, just to see how it works, I am going to call it, this is my first form. And of course, I can't do much there on the date. So let's click on the name and the email, for example. I haven't select a session. Of course, this will be, I don't know the exact translation, so I'm going to type it as and if I have notes, let's say, and so on. So, and at the bottom, I have the my thank you message. So I will just click on that, and I will type my thank you message in French, and that's it. My form now is ready in 2 languages. So let me go back here. So I've created my form. I've added the questions. I decided who the audience will be. And I've added the language, and I decided on that this style suits my form. So now I'm ready to send this form. But before I do that, I would like to see how the form will actually look like. So here I have a preview of the form. So I'm going to click on the preview, and here I will show me that this is my form, and I'm going to start my form here. There's my form, and on the top, as you can see here, I can select my language. So this is the default in English. I can simply select my language to be French, and instantly the form will show in French. Even the notes, the Microsoft notes at the bottom, everything will be in French. Once I submit this form, I will get a thank you in the language I select. So here's the form on the top. This is how it will look like on a regular computer. And this is how it's going to look like on a mobile phone. So if I need to change the design of it, if I find that a lot of people will be using their phones to submit this this form, let's say, I can change this design to, I can break it down to sections so that it's easier. One section fits on one screen, so they can go next, instead of trying to scroll up and down on their phone. So you can look at the form, see how it looks like before you actually send it out. So I am good with this form, and let's see how we can start collecting responses. Let me go back to my form here, and on the top here next to the settings, I have collect responses done. So when I click on that, now here, it's also reminding me that this form is going out to only people in my organization. You can change your mind here. You can say anyone can respond to it. Here you have multiple options to send it out. One option here is just simply a link. You can shorten the URL so that it's just simple URL. You can copy that and you can use it on your website. You can use it in an email if you're using MailChimp or any other email blast tool. You can just simply copy this link, put it in an email, send it out, or you can create a page and add the link to it. Another option is to send out an invite. I can send out an invite to, because I'm sending it to my, within the organization, I can use Outlook to send out an invite. I simply type in my a group, or it's a team chat, or if you have a distribution group, you can pull it up here, send it out to that. Or you can send it actually to a Teams chat. So I can select teams, I will select which team I want to send it out, and then they will receive it right in their Teams chat. Another option you have is just to create a QR code. So here it gives you a QR code. You can download this and you can put this in your bulletin, for example. Let's say this is a sacramental registration form. And instead of putting a link that they have to type it in and make mistakes, you can just put this QR code in your bulletin. It's just simply an image. They can just point their camera on it and it'll take them right to your form. Or I can use and embed this form within a page on my website. So as you can see here, the form has its own design, but let's say if you created a simple form and you wanted the form to follow the same design of your website, you can use the embed code. So you simply copy this code and paste it on one of your pages. When you create a page, it will embed the form within your website. So it will have your website logo, all the menus and everything will work. The form will be part of a page of your website. So you have all four options to send out your form. So once you decide on one, and then you simply take that, you copy that. Let's say I want to send it out to my Outlook. So I can just simply switch to my Outlook. I will look up my distribution group, and in the body, I will just simply paste the link. People click on it, it'll take them to the form, and it will start collecting responses. So once once the responses start to come in, let's switch back to the form here. On the top here, I have the questions and I have another tab for my responses. So once the responses start to come in, I can click on the responses and it'll show me how many people submitted, and it will give you some graphs by questions, how many people answered this question and how many people chose this answer, and so on. And you have a small link here to open it in Excel. So you just simply go to your form, click on that, and it will download or open the responses in Excel. Each question will be a column in Excel, and we can look at one form and see how you can do that. So, so far, I have my form created. I've added the questions. Once you add, for example, you go back, you wanted to add more questions, or let's say I wanted to change the order of these questions. I want to ask them about the email first. I can simply just drag this up and down so that I can change the order of my questions. So it's just very easy to use. You can shuffle them, you can move them up and down, or you can simply delete a question or and so on. So, or you can continue adding more questions there. So once a form is ready, any changes you make, as you can see on the top, the form is already saved. So you didn't have to save anything. As you work in your form, it's always saving your form. As you make changes, and then you can easily access your form. So let me go back to my forms. And this is the form that we just created. It shows up just like another document, a Microsoft Office document. I can delete that, I can move it, I can go back and click on it and edit my form again, or I can check the responses and so on. Okay, so I'm going to show you now next. Right now, I've created a form, and to access the responses, I had to open forms and come to the responses and then download my Excel file. And that takes you a few clicks. Let's say I wanted to save the responses in my SharePoint on a under a specific folder. So let's see how I can achieve that. So let me close all this. I'm going to switch to my SharePoint. So let's say here I'm under my own folder. I wanted to create a folder here. I'm just going to call it registrations. Here I have my folder. I open that folder. I will create an Excel file here. I want to create an Excel file. So I just click on new, I create an Excel file. There is my Excel file. It's over. So I have my Excel file. I would like to insert a form here. So I will click on insert. I have an option to insert a form. I click on that. I create a new form. It takes me right to forms. I will create the form here. And then I will start adding my questions. And let's say I'm gonna add a Likert as well. So you can add This is another type of question. So you can add rows, you can have columns, you can add more columns, depending on your this is just another type of question. So I have my form ready. Okay. I will same thing. I will decide who the form is going to, and I will go through all settings. I will decide on a theme, whatever that is. I will start collecting responses, and all that doesn't change. Once I'm done with my form, I will close my form. And as you can see here in my Excel file, it added another sheet for me with the form that I just created. And as you can see here, it'll add some ID and start time and completion time for me. These are added by default. And then I have the email and etc. So as you can see, it just adds the form for you in an Excel file. So I close that. There is my Excel file in my SharePoint. Now, as people submit questions, I can get to them right in my Excel file. So I just simply open that file and it will list me all the submissions that I received. And if you have a SharePoint sync, you can just simply put a shortcut for this file for yourself. You can, one click takes you right to the submissions of your form. Let me switch over to my email. A lot of time you organize meetings and a lot of people you send out emails back and forth trying to decide which date works for everyone. In Outlook, you can use Microsoft Forms. It is built in Outlook. It is called scheduling poll. So whether you're writing any email or you're creating an event, you can create a scheduling poll. You send out an email with multiple options of dates, and you can set it so that once the consensus is reached, the event or the meeting will be automatically scheduled and added to your calendar. And you can do that within an email or within your Outlook calendar. Let's look at both of them. And they both work the same way. So here I'm in my emails. I will click on a new email. I need to add some recipients first. So let me add Rob. I'm going to add Claire. And this is a meeting next week. So here I want to add a scheduling. So in my message, I will click on those more options on the top here and click on that. And I have an option to use a scheduling. So I click on that. On the side, it gives me the duration of my meeting. So let's say it's a 1 hour meeting. And let's say it's going to be next week. So on the 29th. And I want to give them a couple of options. So on the 29th, I'm available at 10, let's say. And I want to give them another date. So I'm going to go to the 30th. And on the 30th, I'm available, let's say, at 2:30. I've added two of them, and I will click on next. Now, this, I can decide whether it's going to be a Teams meeting or not. So if it's a Teams meeting, I can leave that on. And I will click on this, manage poll settings. So here I can schedule when attendees reach consensus. I can hold selected times on my calendar. notify me about poll updates, and require attendees to verify their identity, and or I can lock the poll for attendees only. So I'm ready. I'm good with those settings. I will create the poll. As you can see, it added the poll right in my email. So I can finish up typing my message. And once I send it out, Claire and Rob will receive this. They can choose which time suits them, and they can vote on it. And once they vote and they both agree on a time that I suggested, the meeting will be scheduled and it will go right into my calendar. Now, this is while I'm writing an email. So let me ignore this and I will see how it works in a calendar. So let me go to my calendar. I wanted to create a meeting on the 29th, so I'm going to add it there. And here in my meeting, first I need to give it a title, and then I need to add attendees first. So I'm going to add Rob and Claire. Well, while I'm doing this, I can look at the scheduling assistant and see their availability, of course, or I can leave it up to them what dates they want to meet on. So I can use the scheduling poll right in my event here. So just click on that, and the same thing. You can decide how long that meeting will be and which date, and it lists your availability on that date, of course. So let's say the 29th, and I gave them two options at 11, and on the 31st, it'll be at 1:30. I'm ready with that, and all my settings are correct, and we'll create the poll. And there is my meeting invite created. And once I click on send, they'll receive this and they can choose which date, and it will be automatically created without me interfering or accepting, and so on. Now, this scheduling poll here, this one, if they have a diocesan email address, they will get this within the email. But let's say you're scheduling a meeting with someone outside the Diocese of London who's not using a diocesan email address. Let's say they're using a Gmail or a Hotmail, anything like that. They will get a link that will take them to a web page with the options, and they can submit it. This is another way of using Microsoft Forms. The back end of this is actually the Microsoft Forms. So you can get to them under your forms, and you can see those forms. So I'm going to discard this for now. So that's how you will add a scheduling poll, or you add a form within your Excel. Or let's look at how you can add a poll in a Teams meeting. So let's say you are in a Teams meeting, you have a meeting going on, and you would like to add a poll within the meeting. You can do that instantly in Teams. So let me switch to my Teams. So in any Teams meeting, you will simply go to your chat, and within the chat, I will click on the three dots here for more options. And you have an option to add Microsoft Forms. There is an app called Polls, but that is being retired, and it works at the moment, but they're making the transition to Forms. So I would recommend you use the Forms because they both work the same way. And the Forms is the future app, and the polls will be retired soon. So to add a poll here, I click on Forms. It gives me the Forms option here, and I will decide here what options. And you can add as soon as I type that, as you can see, it gives me all these options that I can simply, instead of typing them in, I can add them all, and right away my poll is ready, and I can preview it. I can record the names of respondents if I want to, or I can share the result with everyone or not. Once this is ready, I can preview it. It looks good to me. I can simply send it, or I can go back and edit my poll within my Teams meeting. And by that, I think I've covered the basics of forms. In forms, you can add branching, you can add images instead of options. You can give them images, different pictures, and so on. I would suggest that you go ahead, try the forms. You can't break anything in forms. You can just simply create those forms, see how it works. And if you have any questions on that, or would like more detailed tutorial on that, we can do that, or I can provide you with some resources that will give you more information on forms. And by that, I think we've covered pretty much the basics in forms. I'm going to switch back and see if we can answer any questions.
I'm coming on to join you for the question period. I mean, there are quite a few questions already, but I just want to tell you, because I use forms a lot and I learned a lot. I have lots of notes here. So let's fly through some of these questions. I know some of them are easy to answer and some of them not so much. So Chris is asking, can you clarify, can we have parishioners upload their baptismal certificates? They need that as a main feature.
Actually, the uploading files, as I mentioned, it's a security issue. Once you have the form open live for the public, they can upload anything, and that is not possible at the moment.
Okay.
But you can once you submit the form, you can communicate with them and they can send it to you by email or however that is. But for the general public, no.
Got it. Good. Okay, thank you. Can you put limits on the number of people that can select a particular date or appointment? So you had gone through and said, choose your date. Can you limit the number of people who can choose a particular option?
You mean a specific date and give it a limit?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure if we can put a limit on that, but I will. I don't know right now.
Okay.
Haven't seen it, but if I find it, I will definitely.
Okay. We can. I see Rob's making notes, so Rob will make notes on responding to that. So. I noticed with the language preference, you still need to type in the question in French, for instance. Can the form not translate the text for you? Or do you have to do that in yourself?
You have to do that yourself because it doesn't, it can, but it doesn't want to be responsible for any mistranslation, let's say.
Got it. Got it. But what it does do is give the person the option to choose when they're responding or to get the questions in that particular language. Great.
Correct.
I know the answer to this one, but I'll let you work through it. Can MS Forms be embedded into the eCatholic website we use, or does it just have to be
Yes.
a link on a page?
Yes, it can. It can be. So in the form, simply when you collect responses, you can select the embed option, and it gives you the code. You can just simply copy and paste within an eCatholic page.
Yeah, I will say that I use that for the pastoral study days because I needed I can't remember what you call it, but like if you had four different people registering, they had to, you know, I don't know what that's called. What's that called, Diamond?
Oh, you mean you can insert it multiple times and
No,
make it amended?
so in the form, it was, are you done answering, or do you have someone else to register?
Well, in forms, actually, once you submit the first, it gives you an option to submit another.
Right, but I'm trying to think of what it's called when you, and maybe I'm not explaining, I know I'm clearly not explaining it right, but in the forms, so if they were only registering one person, they could hit submit at the end of the one person, or are you registering someone else and then it takes you to another more of the same form, basically?
Oh, okay. Well, it's not the way you described it, but once the form is submitted, you
Yeah.
get a thank you message right on the screen with an option to submit another
Got it. Yeah, do
to
you want
do
to submit
another
another
submission.
form?
Yes.
Yeah, this is all within the same forum. The word will come to me, but it was something I couldn't do on the eCatholic forms. So I just embedded
Oh,
the
yes,
forms
yes.
onto the website. So
Yeah, multiple
yeah,
submissions. Yes, you can do that. You
yeah,
can allow it within the form.
yeah. Bernadine's asking, can you create a calendar poll with this where a number of options are provided, but only one person can choose a particular date or time? So I think what she's asking is if she has a number of students she needs to see, and they're, you know, she has one opening at 2 o'clock and one opening at 3 o'clock. That
Oh,
might
you
be the
limit
limit
the
pick question
limit
again.
yes. Well, I'll have to check on that.
Okay.
And but
Okay. Making a note of that.
if I
Okay.
will respond to you, Bernadine,
Okay.
if I find a way to do.
Okay, great. Do you have to create the Excel file before you create the form to drop everything into the Excel? Or can you create the form, then decide you want it to go into the Excel file? And does it
Well,
automatically update the Excel file as the submissions come in?
when you create the form first, it automatically creates the Excel file for you, but that is embedded within the form itself. But if you want it the other way, you create the Excel file and then you insert the form. So you know where exactly the form is under a specific folder with a specific name for the file.
So this is Claire Bondi asking. So if I've already created the form, the only way to get the Excel file is to download the Excel file.
To download the Excel file from the form.
Okay. Okay.
But
Go ahead.
you can create a form, you can create the Excel file and then insert the form. Once you do that, then you know where the submissions are and where the location of the files.
Got it.
Right, could I add to that? So as say registrations for a sacramental prep class are being completed by people clicking the link on the website, those entries are automatically pushed into an Excel spreadsheet, and that's the most up-to-date version of your registrations at that time.
Correct. So under the responses, you will have a link to download the Excel file.
And that will be the most up-to-date version of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Both ways, as they're both live documents. So as submissions come in, whether you create the Excel file first or you create the form first, both Excel files will give you an instant live submissions.
Good, thank you. When using multilingual forms, for example, English and French, is there a way to default the form to French first, then the user has to toggle to English rather than the form defaulting to English?
So if I add French, I'm going to try it now. So here, my primary language is set to English, but I can, yeah, unless you change the language, the primary language, I don't see, because any language you add will be a secondary language and the default will be your primary language.
Does it allow you to change the primary language to French?
It doesn't allow me here, but it's a
Okay.
setting in your office. So if your office is
Okay.
set as a French, then your primary language will be French.
Okay. That might be helpful for some of those that are in French language parishes.
Yes.
So great, thank you. When you reach a consensus on a time and date through the poll, does it add the meeting to everyone's calendar or just the poll creator?
To everyone's calendar. It will send an invite and it will go to everyone's calendar. And that is optional, of course. You can set that whether to go automatically or manually, you send out the invite.
Okay, great. Can you embed third-party apps in a form like Dropbox? That way we could have an upload baptism feature in another option. That makes sense.
Unfortunately, no. You cannot add like embed another a third-party application within a form.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I'm just going to read this. Not a question, but in addition to the embed options, when embedding the form on eCatholic and someone on an Android device loads the page, you get an MS Forms landing page and you need to click a link to then load the form. It works, no problems with Windows, Macs, and iOS devices. You see the form. That's interesting. So that would be, because I've embedded it, have it embedded for pastoral service or pastoral study days. So I did not know that. We're using Email Me form at the moment. Is it safe to replace with MS Forms?
Definitely. Because this is, well, Office 365 is their main product, and they have put in so much security into it. And we do trust those security measures they have. So it is, if not more secure, it is as secure as any other tool out there.
Okay, good. Is there, so if you were to make a change on a form, is there a way to see a previous edit? So in other words, if I've gone in and I've made a change on a form and I'm deciding I actually want to revert back to the original, is there a way to see your previous edits on that? You know what I'm saying?
That I will have to check, Claire, because once you save the form, it automatically updates the backend Excel file with your questions. But as with any other Office document, there is a version history, and I'm expecting that would be in Microsoft Form, but I will confirm that. Who is the question from, Claire?
Me.
Oh, okay. I will get you the answer for
that. Can you copy an existing form and make changes or update for another or similar purpose? In other words,
yes, you can easily copy a form. Just in my forms, if I click on the options here, I can easily copy the form.
And then make additions. And
Yeah.
I have very frequently created a form and then realized I'm not actually getting all the information that I want because I created it badly. And so I go back in and edit it, and it changes the Excel sheet a little bit, but it's very easy to do. It's in the middle of getting responses. It's super simple. So.
Yes, yeah. It will add the new question for you, but it won't delete an existing column, for example.
Right. Can a responder to the form have the option to go back and make edits at a later date? And can we then see those edits in the Excel form?
No, the submission or the data will not go into Excel until they hit the submit button. But if you break your form into multiple pages, that all depends on clients, whether they say they cache the pages or not. So I would say, no, you cannot save it to a later date until you decide to submit it.
Right.
No, once you submit, then it's in or not.
Right. I mean, can you show us an example of a form that has responses so we can see what that data looks like?
Okay, well, an example of this Microsoft Forms is our help desk. So our help desk is a Microsoft form, and it's just another form that we have. So I'm going to go into that same form. There's my service desk form, and there is my responses. And in the responses, of course, it's details the service, how many people selected a specific option. For each question, you will see a graph, how many tickets were high response, how many tickets were urgent, medium, and so on, and the description. So which parish submitted how many questions, and so on. So you can see in a nicely laid out graph the breakdown of your responses. And at any given time, I can simply download those responses in Excel. But what's happening here in this specific form, we're using the form to collect the data, and then we are using another Microsoft app called Power Automate to manipulate the data and submit it to a third-party ticketing system that we use. So the form is just a one step in the ticketing system.
Okay. Interesting. So another question, when you create the spreadsheet and have it make the form, is there a way to hide certain info on the spreadsheet so it doesn't show in the form?
Well, the form is just another sheet in your Excel file. So if you have some information you manually add, that will not show on the form itself. The sheet will only show you the data submitted from the form, but you can have another sheet with any information you need, and that will not show up on the form itself.
Okay. The person who asked that question, if you want more information, obviously, can help you with that. So someone is asking, when I collect data, it goes to WordPad instead of Excel. How do I fix that?
WordPad. Well, that is pretty much your default application. So when if it by default opens in WordPad, you can just simply right-click the file. So let me show you here quickly. So let's say I want to open this with a different application. I will right-click, open with, I will choose another app. So instead of Word, I want to use a different app. So I can select the app and I say, always use this app to open this type of file. So that's a local setting you can use. instead of WordPad, select Excel. Make sure you say always use this app to open this type of file, and then it will open in Excel going forward.
Okay. So if you have problems doing that, Iman can help you out with that, or somebody from IT can, I'm sure.
For sure.
Yeah, I mean, can you, just because we have a few minutes left, can you show us, so I don't fully understand what a Likert is in the forms.
Sure. So for example, here, this is a Likert.
Okay,
So this is kind of a giving a rate on each statement. So I can have different statements. For example, let's say I'm rating, let's say, rating IT service. And I can choose, let's say, VoIP. I can choose internet. I can add another statement for Office 365. And on the top here, I will say, I can give it a rating. So 1 means I'm not happy with it, up to, let's say, 5. Or I can use wording, not so much, and I like it very much.
okay,
And so on. So this is kind of an example of a Likert, and then people will be able to rate my services or whatever type of information you're collecting.
okay. The word I was looking for previously was branching. Can you show us how branching works?
Okay, so let's say I have a question with a multiple choice. Let's say, let me add another question. So I'm going to add a choice, and I have 2 choices. Let me move this question up so that I can here. Depending on this question, so I have option 1 and I have option 2. And if I click here, I can add branching. So when I do the branching, say when people select option 1, go to end of form. I can end the form, say,
Thanks, we don't need your response.
anything. Or I can go to a different section, or I can jump them to a different question. So this is the branching comes in when you have multiple sections. So let's say if you are under this age, I want to collect this type of information. And above this age, I want to collect a different type of information. I can put those 2 types in different sections, and my dividing question will be at first. So I say if they answer this, I will take them to this section, and if the answer is this, it'll take them to the other section. So that's what branching is.
Okay, great. That's what that's what I use for pastoral study days. So if you at the end of registering the first person, then I asked, is this the last person registering? And then it would go to the end of the form. If not, they would go to, I just copied and duplicated the individual registration piece, and they would go to that. So, and being able to embed that in the website was very helpful.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, if I'm going to give a 1 minute warning if there are no other questions. I have found this very helpful, and I'm going to go back now and make all of my forms pretty and with music, because I didn't know that was an option. So
well,
it might be annoying, but I don't care.
Well, would you add music, or you add like a motion background? In the end, it's the user who can stop it. They can stop the music from playing.
Right.
They get the option. So when they go open the form, they will have the option to stop the music or to mute it.
Okay. All right. Well, that's good to know.
Could I add a comment, Claire?
Absolutely.
So I would just encourage everyone, if this seemed a bit overwhelming or there are a lot of steps for you, I would encourage you to just think about what you're trying to do and just record it as a statement, a problem statement, or a question you want to ask, and then reach out to Iman with that. So Claire, you're really good at these examples, like kind of putting you on the spot, but think of what you need to do and what you'd like to do. And then instead of sort of struggling through it on your own, please submit a ticket and say, I'd like help with this. And we'll reach out back to you and help you sort through that. Because sometimes it's just that getting started and getting the first one under your belt that can be kind of a struggle. So, and it also helps us when you submit those questions and ideas, because we're always trying to find ways to help others benefit from each other's experiences. We're kind of a central gathering point for these things. And so if we can learn from what you share with us, we can share that with others and hopefully help them along the way as well. So yeah, I really would encourage that. Just put it as a problem statement or a question, and then the technical part of it we can assist with.
Yeah. And I think, you know, as we get the questions today, what we realize is for some people, this is like an answer to a prayer. And for some people, this isn't going to solve the problem that they particularly need at this time. And so they can, you know, keep using what they were using or find another option. Can you show us how to import an existing form from Word or a PDF?
Okay, so under my forms, so when if I want to create a form here, let's say let me go to all my forms first. So this is a quick import. When I click on that, it gives me an option to import, upload from this device, for example. If I click on that, I can select between, it takes any Word document or a PDF document. So if you have a document already created, you just click on that, upload, you select your document, you just browse to it, select your document, and as it will create the form for you from the questions you have in that document, whether it's a Word document or a PDF document. But it needs to be laid out in questions. So, and it cannot be like a scanned PDF document, because a scanned document is simply an image. It might find that difficult to convert it to text. But if you already have a text in the document, it will convert it for you to a form.
Awesome.
And it's just simply just selecting the file and let it do the work.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much, Iman and Rob. This has been super, super helpful. I know as we're gaining traction with these webinars, people are recognizing. I just know that there's so much in Microsoft 365 that we have not tapped into yet. So I would also encourage, if you have other, the IT department is working on what upcoming workshops will be offered, but if you have things that you really want, or you think that there's, you know, your office has a whole bunch of questions about a particular application, please reach out and we can certainly talk about where we fit that in moving forward. One last question, can you convert a form created on eCatholic?
No, I wouldn't. Well, unless you do some manual work, like view the form in a page, then just copy the text part of the form and save it into a Word document. Then you can import it. It's a workaround, but there is no direct way to import a form from eCatholic.
Okay, good. All right. Well, thank you so much again. We will look forward to April 26th, when we will talk about what are we talking about? Shared calendars and the value of that and how that can be used in families of parishes. So we will see you all then. You can register on dol.ca/simple-solutions. Thanks again, Rob and Iman. We will see you soon.
Thank you. Thank you very much.